Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Monday Mensaje, or Monday Message, our weekly energy forecast. Thank you so much if you are back yet again this week to see what the energy is going to be like, see what's like coming our way. And if it's your first week listening, welcome, and I hope that you're able to get something out of this week's message. Before I get into the energy forecast, I do just want to let everyone know quickly that Starful, my newest offering, is now live on my website. I'm super excited that it's up and running. Very, very quickly, I'll just say that's where I'm posting my monthly energetic forecast for the collective, and then a little bit of like a monthly like tailored forecast for each sign is also there. I'm going to be doing monthly love readings by Venus sign, full moon messages, new moon messages. So there's a lot there. You can join at theglamspirit.com. Super excited to have that up and running. And yeah, I hope to add another like page around summertime that's going to have like resources that have just helped me on my spiritual journey. That way I can just make good use out of a lot of these tools and information that I've piled on my spiritual journey thus far. So I really hope to see you over at Starful. I'm super excited. May info is like all ready to go and waiting for you there. I'm going to have, of course, the full moon messages coming up soon because I think that's like early next week. So I'm working on that currently. And yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. Let's get into the weekly message. So before I get started with this week's message, I have a little disclaimer. This week, the messages that I'm receiving and the cards that have come up are really geared towards like your love life, romance, partnerships, let's just say like interpersonal relationships as a whole. So if that's not your vibe, if that's not what you're looking for, then you know what? Maybe next week will be a better week for you to come back and listen. And yeah, I will see you then. But for those of you that have had this topic and these kinds of things on your mind, let me tell you, it's going to be a good one this week. I just feel it. So I may end up titling like Monday Mensaje, like Love Edition. I'm not sure. You'll obviously know by the time I post this to YouTube. But I think I'm so shocked really by what I got this week. So anyway, I double, triple, quadruple checked this because it was so like specific. I really wanted to make sure that this was the energy for the week, that these were that these were the messages. But here we are. I don't get to pick the cards, So I am just a messenger from the universe. Remember that? So I just go with what I'm receiving. So let's dive into it. I'm excited. I love love. I'm just going to put that out there. I love love. I love helping clients with their love lives. I love helping with relationships. So I'm here for it. Let's get into it. So the cards that represent this week's energy are the Two of Cups. And our theme, bottom of the deck, is the Knight of Cups. So if you know anything about tarot, you now understand why I'm sitting here a little bit shocked, right? So yeah, I guess let's just get going with what I'm receiving because there's a lot here. So again, I want to just say use your intuition, use your discernment. If you feel like what I'm saying is for you, really deep down, you'll know, right? Take a deep breath. Connect with your intuition if you should be listening this week, or maybe if this week's message really isn't for you. Because like I always say, I think when it comes to love and relationships, unfortunately, there can be a lot of information out there, especially regarding tarot, that I think can be a little bit irresponsible and kind of get people's hopes up for things that don't really apply to them, right? And that's why I'm taking the time to really, really put this disclaimer out there, because I don't want to be someone that is sending the wrong message or giving someone hope that really isn't there, So make sure you use your discernment, your intuition, and if you feel yep, this is for me, I've been waiting for a sign about what's going on in this area of my life and this feels right for me, then let's do it, okay? So, Two of Cups. I'm using the Rider-Waite deck, so we have traditional imagery. You can pop over to my Instagram if you're not familiar with what the tarot cards look like. So for those of you who don't know, the Two of Cups pictures two characters. They are facing each other. They are both holding these big chalices and sort of offering their cups to another. I mean, let's just be real here. one of the biggest associations that the Two of Cups has is like soulmates and divine unions and like partnerships that are just like, I guess let's just say blessed by the universe, right? So first thing I'm getting is like, I've been talking a lot about eclipse season. By the way, how are you? How are we doing with eclipse season? Because whoa, right? Like I feel like major highs and then also major lows. So if you're in like a roller coaster-esque period of your life right now, I need you to know you are not alone. I am with you. I'm right there. Wow. Yeah. There's been some really phenomenal days and then other days where I'm like, what is happening? Like in my life as a whole. So I'm there with you. You're not alone. And so what I say that to say though, like eclipse season, I've been talking about this idea that there's a lot of like faded energy and lots of things that fall away during eclipse season are supposed to, and then things that come together also, probably supposed to, right? So pay attention to what is exiting your life right now and what is entering your life right now, because the universe is saying the timing of that is on purpose. And, eclipse energy is going to be shaking things up. And it's also, like I said, a very like faded time, a time to expect the unexpected, and definitely a time to be open to miracles and things just kind of happening and falling out of the sky, like out of nowhere. So this also pertains to your love life. Listen, we also have this notion too, for those of you who aren't familiar, that this year's, like, I guess you could say like the tarot card associated with 2022 is the Lovers, which represents Gemini. And so a lot of people have been calling 2022 the year of divine unions, where many souls who have been, let's say like destined to be together and to unite or reunite, this is a large year for that. So with that being said, I think that love really has been on so many of our minds, especially like those who are like involved in their own spiritual communities and they're like aware of this. And I just feel like people have kind of had this on their mind, like because of that, and I know that a lot of people's partnerships have been, let's just say, like being shaken up and sort of like rearranged by the universe, and that's not easy. Those rearrangements, I call them, like people who are breaking up or like getting back together or reuniting, all that stuff. None of this is easy, right? Like it's really easy to romanticize it. But the day-to-day reality of those changes is extremely impactful, especially when, I want to remind us that like when something's going on in like one area of our life, it impacts the rest of our life. I mean, we can try and sit here and convince ourselves and others that what's going on in our love life is totally like compartmentalized, right? But if you're like feeling really stressed or uncertain or worrying about a major area of your life, that's probably going to bleed into other aspects, right? Like maybe you're a little bit distracted at work. Maybe you haven't been in the mood to, get outside or exercise as much as normal and all that stuff, right? So like you can have some like, let's just say like depression symptoms creeping in. It could be peaking anxiety, right? So it's like I said, I think I see a lot of information online and a lot of, unfortunately, I see a ton of other practitioners talking about this kind of stuff, and it's a little bit, like I said, romanticized, where it seems like, oh yeah, you're gonna, not be with this person, and then this person's gonna come in, and it's gonna be fine. Like, no, all of this stuff takes like a huge emotional toll. So I want you to be gentle with yourself throughout these processes. Like those of you out there who are listening because you are, you have been hoping for some sort of guidance. Like this is obviously not a coincidence. Like I said, I don't pick the messages that come for the week. I just like really, really make sure that what is, supposed to be put out there is put out there. And so am I really shocked to see a message about love this week? No, I'm really not. I think I was just really making sure that this was what needed to be said. So I guess first thing I'm saying is like, be gentle with yourself no matter what stage of this process you're in right now. Whether you are in the process of thinking like, hey, what is it I really want for myself? Maybe I need to move on from the current situation that I'm in. Maybe you're working up like the bravery and the courage to have those really tough conversations. Maybe you're in the process of rekindling something and trying to reignite something. And there's different courage and bravery that's going to be needed in those situations. Maybe you are someone who is in the mourning process and grieving, right? Something that has ended, and that has its own emotional toll. And then there's others of you that are feeling ready and have, moved on from previous, relationships in your lives, and you're ready and looking to call something in. There could be many of you listening that are single right now, and that also comes with its own challenges of like meeting new people, and then like kind of having to go through this process over and over again of, being vulnerable with a new person, getting to know someone, sort of like letting them see your real self, and are we compatible, and like the same small talk on like, what's your favorite color, and like how many times can we go through that, before it gets a little frustrating. So, and there's also like loneliness that comes with that, and loneliness can always like bring us into a place where maybe we don't make like the best decisions for ourselves. And so every person listening, like wherever you are in your phase, of life and of relationships and of like your romantic story, be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. Healing is going to happen at the rate it's going to happen, and there's no need to feel like you need to be okay at a certain point, right? Like time is, I don't know. I feel like time is not really a great indicator of where you should be, right? Like certain relationships take longer to get over. Certain connections take less time to get over. I don't know. I just feel like I just want you to go at a pace that's like working for you. Don't feel like you need to be more healed, more over something than you are. And also don't feel like, like you're beating yourself up for maybe not being where you want to be. There's also this big thing of like, sometimes you just want to be okay. So you're kind of convincing yourself you're okay. And it's because, who wants to be sad every day? Nobody wants that. So just make sure this huge thing I'm getting right now is about checking in with yourself. How are you really doing? How are you really feeling at this stage of your journey, right? Like journaling does help. So maybe you want to do that too. Like, how are you feeling? Where are you at, right? What is it that you are trying to call in this next chapter of life? What kind of partnerships are you looking for? Are you looking for something more casual? Are you looking for something more heartfelt? I mean, listen, the Two of Cups is like divine union. The Two of Cups is not talking about anything casual. So, next thing I'm getting is this download I'm receiving is really about opening up your mind to any divine. I'm going to say it. Like, I'm just going to be blunt. This message is about opening up your mind to divine unions taking place in your life. And for us to get this message during eclipse season, again, we know this is like fated energy. So you're going to have to really, I guess, like I said, open your mind to the miracles that can happen in your life, because you could turn around and be meeting somebody new that really catches your attention, that you feel like you connect with. Like, this is like huge soulmate energy. Maybe you're going to be connecting with a soulmate. And, to bring in this Knight of Cups energy as well. So it's like we have these characters offering, their love to each other. Essentially, that's really what's in these chalices, like emotional vulnerability, emotional offers, love, things like that. But we also have this Knight of Cups. And I mentioned before in previous weeks, we had him pop up like a few weeks ago. I thought of that like as soon as I saw this. So it's like maybe something that's been brewing. When was that? That was like, for those listening, that was like a couple months ago, right? So maybe something's been brewing for a couple months. This could be like a certain group of you. And maybe it sort of seems a little bit like, is this happening? Is this not happening? I don't really know what to think here. And I remember saying at that time, like, the Knight of Cups isn't a knight that moves very quickly. This knight specifically wants to make sure that he is sharing what he's offering, right? Because he has this chalice. He's also bringing it to someone. So it's like he wants to make sure that he's offering all that he has here at the right time. And so this next message I'm getting is like, again, they're really trying to hit home about divine timing. And so for those of you that have sort of maybe been waiting on something and it's been seeming like, is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? It's been a little bit slow moving. Maybe you've been a little bit impatient, understandably. This message is saying, yeah, it's divine time. It is divine time. It's happening. If you have lost hope, this should be reigniting it. And maybe you've forgotten about it a little bit. And so it's this huge heads up of like, hey, this could be coming back towards you. We also have like Mercury going retrograde tomorrow. So for some of you, and again, I'm going to be like, I'm really huge disclaimer here. This is not for everybody. Use your discernment, use your intuition. But the first thing I thought when I drew these cards was, wow, Mercury is going retrograde, so everybody jokes. It's like a joke if you're not familiar, that like people from your past and your exes and yada yada all pop up like during that time, right? Because it's a time of like reevaluation. It's a time where things do come up to the surface again to be able to heal them this time around. There are things resurfacing from the past, and other stereotypes are like technological issues, delays, and issues with communication and yada yada. So I'm thinking like for some of you, a small group of you, I think this could be somebody that you already know, if what I'm receiving. Okay. I'm just the messenger. Like I said, this for some of you is someone you already know. And I'm thinking this timing of the eclipse with, and again, as a reminder, we're in the middle of both eclipses right now. So the first one was last weekend and then like a week ago. And then the next one is coming up. I think it's Tuesday. Don't quote me on that. I'll put it down below. So my point is we're in between both eclipses. And this is just me. I just love astrology for my own personal life, but really consult an actual professional if you want to know like real information. But my point is from my own personal life experience, I have found the time between both of the eclipses, because they come in pairs. It's usually like 2 weeks apart. The time between that is the most chaotic time, is the most roller coastery, sort of up and down. What the hell is happening? I don't even know what's going on. That's the energy of those weeks, right? So you add in like Mercury retrograde, and I'm thinking maybe there's for some of you, somebody from your past, okay? We're talking about also protecting yourself against toxic behavior and, make sure you're protecting yourself. I'm just saying these things, I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, yay, my like really awful ex is coming back into my life. It's meant to be. Like, I don't want you to think that. No, I'm talking about healthy partnerships here. Okay. So, protect yourself against that toxic behavior, know what you deserve, know your value, set your boundaries, and stick to them. I just feel like I need to say that. But for those of you where it's someone from the past and it isn't a fully like toxic situation and there could be some like unresolved things, I'm thinking this heads up. And again, the energy expands beyond the week. So if this doesn't happen this week, I don't want you to think like, oh, it's not happening. I just let you know I check in weekly. And right now they're saying there are going to be divine partnerships coming together under this eclipse energy. And it's extra crazy because like I said, we're in between both eclipses right now. So this seems like so fated. And again, year of divine union. I'm not that surprised, but am I a little shocked, considering all of the messages we could have gotten this week? Yes, I definitely am. So you listening might be the person bringing this cup, right? Because it's like we have the Two of Cups, which is again, when I'm doing readings with clients, it's like the soulmate card. It represents other divine partnerships. If you believe in the twin flame journey, that's a whole other thing, but that could also be what's coming up here. But I'm thinking not all of you listening are the person who is receiving the cup from the Knight, right? I do have a feeling that some of you listening are the people that are going to bring this cup to someone else. So maybe for some of you, this on the flip side, choose your character in the story. But for some of you, I see you as the character that has had this cup, right? Like maybe you've been slow moving because you've been mulling over your emotions. How do I feel about this situation? What else is going on in my life that I need to kind of figure out before I can pay attention to my love life? And maybe you've been looking for a sign like, man, I really feel like this is right. Like I feel it intuitively. I feel it within me. It feels right. It feels good. But what now? Well, listen, this is a direct sign from the universe. Hello, act on what you're feeling. That is like the largest thing that I'm hearing right now. Act on what you're feeling. No one is going to know how you feel until you tell them how you feel. They don't know this cup is even like on the way to them until you bring it to them. So if you've been kind of on the fence and thinking, I'm not really sure. This is like, I really don't know what larger sign you could be getting from the universe right now than to offer your cup of love to this person. This is your sign. I'm just going to say it really clearly. And this is signifying too, for those of you that have been a little nervous, a little bit about offering your cup, what they're telling me, and the reason why we got this Two of Cups specifically, we could have gotten a lot of cards that really sort of symbolize similar energy, but they're telling me that the reason this person has been on your mind, has been in your heart, has been sort of, I see some of you trying to forget about this person. Again, I'm talking to the Knights here. Gender does not matter in this situation, but I'm talking to the Knights here who are kind of, I feel like it has been like a back and forth energy about like offering their cup. I think because of nervousness and just like, is this the right thing? And, totally understandable reasons. But what they're telling me to tell you is, the reason you can't forget about this person and this person is on your mind and in your heart and everything is because there is a deeper reason for your union. Like this is what they're telling me. The Two of Cups is saying there is a spiritual component to this connection. And that is why you have not been able to move past it permanently or to ignore it. Maybe for some of you, this is a new person and you feel like, how could I feel like this so soon? And then for a lot of you, I feel like it's someone you already know. Or for, it could be for some of you that you're going to meet someone and have this feeling. And maybe you'll think of this message and say, oh my gosh, wow, maybe what I'm feeling is real, because it's easy for our brains to like rationalize things and tell us that we're crazy for feeling how we feel. So again, choose your character, choose who you are in this story. But this is a sign that, and for those of you receiving the cup, this is for you as well. The reason someone's really in your heart, again, in a non-toxic situation, of course, we want healthy relationships with good boundaries. We want people to be treated the way they deserve to be treated. We want an open and honest communication, all of that, right? So again, I'm not talking about taking back toxic people who are just crazy and, going to do nothing but like wreak havoc on your life. But the people where these connections are positive, the reason they're on your mind, in your heart, and you have come back to them, or you've felt this incredible spark, or whatever it is because the universe is saying there's something deeper here. The universe, with this eclipse energy, is literally bringing you together. I often talk about larger forces at play in our lives, and like, this is a huge sign. Like, there are larger forces at play that are bringing you together. There could be some sort of soul mission that you have to carry out together. Also, you have to remember the like easiest and most effective, most impactful way to raise the vibration of the planet and ascend human consciousness. And all of that is love. Love is the highest vibration. It's the highest, most pure frequency. It is the source of all unity and just really the most beautiful energy that we could possibly have, right? And so that's why I'm not surprised that there are these fated unions being brought together, especially like in this year of like the lovers, like I said, is because the planet is in serious need of, let's just say like, this is more like a little bit more out there for some of you probably, but the 3D is essentially crumbling, and this move into the 5D, and I will link the video below, a video below that's really informational to help you understand 3D, 5D, what this transition is, and all that. But to those of you who understand what I'm saying, there is this large shift happening where we are, those of us who consider ourselves to be contributing something positive to the planet and the universe and so on, there is a large effort here to raise the vibration of this planet, and love is the most effective way to do that. It is like the most positive energy that you could have. So, I think this is like, I don't know, kind of like a strategy from the universe to say, like, how can we bring more positivity into the world? And that would be through love and partnership. And not just any love. 2 of Cups is like I said, divine partnership, divine counterparts, someone who really understands you on a soul level, real, true love, real reciprocity is what I'm hearing of love, right? And I do want to say that just because these connections may be faded and just because these connections are brought to you through larger forces does not mean there's not going to be obstacles in the way. It does not mean that there aren't going to be situations that have to be overcome. I mean, we're still human, right? No matter how beautiful the partnership is, it's still a human-to-human relationship. So there's going to need to be bravery and courage as far as expressing yourself, being vulnerable, letting somebody in. So you have to say, what do I need to do to be in a better place emotionally and mentally to be in a healthy, divinely guided relationship? That way you don't end up like throwing something away that the universe has brought to you. Like, let's be real here. Like, a divine partnership is an incredibly beautiful, beautiful gift from the universe. Not everyone has reincarnated into a timeline where that's something they may experience, right? So I do want you to really understand the magnitude of like what this message really is. So that way you can do the internal work to make sure that you're able to hold on to it, because just because it's divinely guided and brought to you doesn't mean that if like your human selves do crazy stuff to mess it up, that it's going to be like protected from that, right? So this is a good week to ask yourself, what do I need to do in order to successfully navigate a divinely guided, beautiful blessing of a relationship from the universe? What do I need to do? Do I have some walls up about some things? Do I have an issue being vulnerable? What's my communication style? Am I good at communicating my emotions? Am I good at understanding other people's point of view? What is your like empathy level? What kind of emotional intelligence do you have? Do you often get angry when expressing your emotions? How do you have conversations about what's going on in your relationship? Did one of you grow up in a family where you kind of like yelled a lot and were kind of just like really out there with what's going on? And then maybe did you grow up in a family where you never spoke about anything that was wrong and you kind of just always put on a brave face and kind of pretended things were okay when they weren't? Because when 2 people like that get into a relationship, you could have like a really large difference of how you handle problems in your relationship and how you communicate. If you have one person who is used to like an explosive environment where everything's kind of all out there in the open, but maybe not in the best delivery, and then you have someone else who's used to like keeping everything in and gonna explode on you in 6 months and tell you everything that you've done, but they couldn't tell you in the moment, that's going to cause really large problems in your relationship. So that's just like one example. Our upbringing really impacts the kind of relationships that we have. The kind of relationships we have with our family really impact us in romantic relationships. So these are all like major questions and things that, they're telling me to pass on, like things to think about. Because a lot of responsibility comes with such a divinely guided, blessing of a relationship like this. It's the responsibility of, what are we going to both commit to this relationship? What are we both going to do to make sure that we take this, I don't want to say seriously, but how committed are we? what's important to each of you in a relationship. And also the next thing they're saying is compromise. So again, like make sure you're compromising and also communicating your needs. All of this needs to be done, of course, in a way that's like responsible and respectful and with empathy, right? I always talk about leading with love, compassion, and kindness, and that needs to be happening in relationships too. I think unfortunately on social media, there is like an abundance of extremely toxic advice and toxic ways of being in situationships. I get people call them whatever the hell they're talking about, right? And a lot of like ego driven, like that's the next message they're talking to me about is ego driven. You really need to keep ego in check. Make sure you're leading with your higher self. Your higher self is the one that is empathetic, that does lead with honesty, love, compassion, and kindness, empathy. Your ego is the one that is going to want you to be spiteful, is going to take things way too personally, is going to jump to conclusions, and is going to want to run away from something because of this like protective barrier you may have around your heart, right? Don't let ego mess up something amazing for you. Like really sit with that, okay? So ask yourself, how does your ego act out? Yeah, and this too, all of these messages are also, the next thing I'm getting is like for people who are in these newly divinely guided partnerships. So for some of you listening, a lot of that advice was because you just recently entered something really special and you feel like it's special. And maybe this is your confirmation that it is what you thought. Maybe you were thinking like, maybe this is my soulmate. Maybe, and we have more than one soulmate in this lifetime. A lot of people have like a very large misconception that there's just one person out there. Soulmates can be romantic, platonic, they can be family members, friends, whatever. But sometimes they are romantic. And oftentimes, like, soulmates really are like a cohort that like reincarnate together for companionship and to understand each other and to learn together and so on and so on. You can look up all these things. But so my point is like, maybe you're thinking like this person could be one of my soulmates or something like that. Because like I said, a lot of our soulmates really aren't romantic. So when you do find one that is, like, it's still like, just because it's not just the one person, like it's a different truth than that, but it's still incredibly special, right? So maybe you've been feeling like maybe this person could be that to me. I don't know. This is your confirmation that, yeah, like maybe this, especially if it's happening around this time, these are all beautiful things. So I know that the downloads are kind of all over the place, but they have a lot to say about it's more like maintaining these relationships. And also to keep an open mind and heart about these relationships and these people entering your life, re-entering your life. Like I said, for those popping back up during Mercury retrograde, could be someone that you've kind of forgotten about, or maybe like kind of like written off, and then they're going to come in with this Knight of Cups energy, and you're going to be like, oh, where's that? Like, what? I wrote that off a month or two ago. Something like that. I really do feel that for some of you. And again, if you're the Knight listening, like, I send you so much love and courage and bravery, and just know that whatever the outcome is, it's worth it, because do you want to spend the rest of your life without speaking your truth? You don't know what's going to happen. It could work out beautifully and wonderfully and better than you imagined. So don't let fear ruin something that could be really beautiful. And then for those of you who are receiving this cup on the other end, it's like, don't let your fear, make you ruin something that could be beautiful. Vulnerability is not easy. It's something that I struggle with too. It's hard, especially in partnerships where you don't fully feel safe yet, because there hasn't been I feel like in every new partnership, it's like someone has to sort of break that barrier first of being vulnerable and being honest and bringing in that truth and saying, hey, I do feel this way. Like, this isn't just, something casual. And it takes a lot of bravery and courage to be that person. And I think until there's that honesty there, it's hard for both people to feel safe. And then I think that's where like ego kind of takes over. So lead with love, compassion, and kindness. Be brave enough to be vulnerable. One of my like most favorite affirmations is I choose love in the face of fear, because, I've talked about this before. Like I do have I'm a Capricorn sun, I can be a little closed off with my emotions sometimes, balanced out by my Pisces moon. So yeah, the duality of that is ridiculous. But my point is that I say that every day. Like, that's one of my favorite affirmations. I choose love in the face of fear. And despite me joking about like my issues with that kind of stuff sometimes, I really am a true romantic. Like, I love love, right? Like, I will never give up on love. I think it's like one of the most beautiful, amazing gifts the universe has to offer, and it makes life worth living, right? Like, what is this life without companionship? And when I say love, I mean friends and family and romantic partners, like as a whole, right? Like, what is this life without people to share it with? You know, and when you really like think about that, it's like, yeah, all the risks associated with these things are worth it. And if there's heartbreak involved, I promise you, you will get through it. So it's like, if that's the fear, it's like you can get through it. You're sitting here past any heartbreak you've experienced thus far, right? Like, you are strong, you're brave, you're gonna get through this. So I just like, my point is like, I have a skewed, obviously, like opinion because I am a huge romantic. So I do think it's worth it to try. And I send so much love and courage and bravery to all of you because this stuff is not easy. And for those of you listening that are like on social media and other places, like, don't take your like love life from TikTok, okay? Like, or I mean like love relationship advice from TikTok. There's so much ego there and so much toxic behavior and ghosting and bullshit. Like, that is not, like, you don't want to have to like one up someone or keep score on who did this or who's texting that at like a certain speed. Like, honestly, the stuff that I hear people like nitpick and talk about blows my mind, okay? Put the bullshit aside. This is like me getting really blunt because it's like, I think some people listening really need to hear this. Stop listening to your friends who have jaded views about relationships. Stop listening to people in your life who have given up on love and aren't going to be supportive of your open heart. Put the bullshit aside, stop nitpicking, stop thinking from ego, and really open your heart and see what like the universe has to offer you when you do that. End of story. You know, like, if you keep acting out of ego and being like, well, they did this, so I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to talk to them because they didn't do whatever. If you care about someone, tell them, let them know, make them feel valued in your life. Everybody wants that. Everyone wants to feel valued in someone's life. You know, like, we want to know, like, someone sees my worth. Someone is willing to open their heart to me. And if that person doesn't see your value, you know what? Move on. There will be somebody out there that will see your value. Do not settle in love. Do not give up on love, okay? Really. It's worth it. And I'm just like, all these messages are just coming in so strong because I think so many people out there have given up on it and are about to. And I feel like that's why the universe is bringing in this sweeping eclipse energy to say, no. There's still love out there. There's still real people out there who are willing to have these divinely guided relationships. So I send so much love and luck and healing energy to all of us because this stuff is not easy. And like I said, use your intuition, pick your character in the story. I don't know who you are. I don't know what's going on, but you know. And I really hope that something that was channeled through this session is like able to help you because this is an area of life where so many of us need guidance and help. So with that being said, that's the Monday Mensaje. That's the energy for like the foreseeable future. So wow, good luck. And I did see some good astrology about this weekend and like a great weekend for like dates or something. So maybe someone's going to ask you out on a fabulous date, or you're going to be the night sweeping in, asking someone on a date, and you're going to, you know, just show someone that you care, right? Like, how can you show people in your life that you care about them, that you value them, platonic and romantic, right? Just spread your love. Relationships and family and friends and strangers, just like open your heart, share your love. Like, that is something that has changed my life, just being more open to spreading love and kindness wherever I go. I know it sounds so cringe, but really, like, after just embracing that it sounds like that, like, I don't care, you know? I've really, as a person, changed so much over the years. I was never like this, trust me. So I want you to know you're not alone. I've done a lot of work to take down a lot of my own walls around my heart with, you know, like, with relationships and not relationships, just letting people in general. I've really worked to be in a mindset where I am empathetic. I'm always understanding that people are going through their own life stuff. It has way less to do with you than it has to do with them. Trust me, it's usually them. And just like spreading love and kindness wherever I go, because everybody needs that. Everybody is like dealing with stuff that they just don't talk about, right? So like there's never enough kindness that could be spread, never too much. So with that being said, I'm going to move into the messages from the universe to the signs, and they're all pre-shuffled, ready to go. I'm using my cosmic guidance deck, and I will link it below. And let's get into it. Mini messages for everyone. Timestamps will be below if you have to just listen to your own stuff and jet out of here. So we're starting this week with Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, create, nurture your creative energy. So the first thing I'm receiving for you, Scorpio, is about, like I said, this divine timing. Like, just know, like, everything that's happening in eclipse season is like divine right timing. So maybe there's something trying to be created through you at a time where it's letting you know, like, hey, you're meant to be working on this right now. Maybe you've just started something and you're kind of like, should I kind of keep the ball rolling with this? So this is a major sign to, keep dedicating your time to whatever this new thing is you're doing. Maybe you're going to come up with a new solid idea in your life or something. Or maybe this is about you. I see someone here like with art supplies. So maybe some Scorpios out there are dealing with some emotions and they need to like get that out with their creative energy. So whether you like paint or draw or write poetry or whatever, there's so many ways to like, express yourself artistically and creatively. So make some time to do that this week. That could be so therapeutic. And you never know. I feel like some of my best stuff comes from those times where I'm really feeling something so deeply, whether that's like a really good emotion or a really tough emotion. So maybe you're going to get some like fabulous art out of what you're going through. I don't know. Maybe that'll make it worth it. Sagittarius. Oh, talking about divine guidance. This is so funny. So Sagittarius, your card is guidance. You are divinely guided. So Sagittarius, the first thing that's coming up is if you have been wondering, what the hell is going on in my life? What's happening? Everything is shifting. Everything is changing. I don't really know what's concrete anymore. One, I want you to know you're not alone in that feeling. So many of us feel like that right now. And two, this is all happening for a reason, right on time. You are divinely protected and guided by the universe. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to. Trust that in this timeline you're in, only the best possible outcomes find you. And it's sort of this little nod from the universe saying like, hey, I know that you've been questioning what the hell's going on. I'm letting you know everything is happening as it needs to. And also when I get this card, it's a reminder to follow my intuition above all else. Also to look at the signs that you're receiving. Pay attention, open your eyes. I think there's probably more signs out there that you're not paying attention to. You might have like tunnel vision. So release those worries, release fear, release anxiety, and flow. Flow with what's coming to you. It's going to make sense in the near future. Okay. Capricorn, the moon. Subconscious mind, feminine intuition. So Capricorns listening, this is a time to lean into your feminine energy. So again, like I was saying with Scorpio, take some time to express yourself creatively. How can you use your creative energy to help you right now? When I think of tapping into my divine feminine, I also think about moving my body. I hold so much tension and stress, anxiety, worry, fear, doubt, all of that in my physical body. So this is a sign for you to get outside, do some walking, dancing, yoga, Zumba, whatever it is, go work out and release that energy from your body physically, especially like women listening, we hold a lot of our tense and like negative energies in our like hips and our womb area. So make sure you're like moving your hips and really shaking out that energy. I promise you are going to start feeling so good when you find time to move your body. I have been moving my body every single day when I wake up. I danced for many, many years. So that's like my way. That's my choice of how I do it. But I wake up and I dance for a while in the morning. I'm grateful that I have a schedule that allows me to do that. But I find when I don't do that, even if I skip it for a few days, I feel tense again. I feel those like anxious energies. So find a way to create, express yourself creatively, get your body moving. And this is a huge huge sign to pay attention to your intuition. If things don't make sense on paper right now, if things that you feel on the inside don't match up with your outside reality, know that that is coming to an end, is what I'm hearing, and that there is going to be a time in the very near future where everything you're feeling intuitively within you is going to match your outer reality. It's like your outer reality is going to catch up with you quickly. And so just because things, the moon too, is, I'm thinking, I envisioned the moon card in tarot when I saw this, so it's a message to me too. Like, that card normally means like not all is what it seems, right? So pay attention to how you feel on the inside, because things are happening behind the curtain, behind the scenes, that are coming together for you, definitely. And pay attention, last thing, to your subconscious beliefs. So what kinds of subconscious beliefs do you have that you think could be holding you back, right? Like, is there fear there of intimacy? Is there fear of not being valuable enough? Or are there things with your self-worth you need to work through? So what affirmations could help you rewire your subconscious mind? So maybe you want to like look into affirmations and how to use them in that way. Aquarius, the Star. Oh, what a great card. Phenomenal. So blessings, inspiration, a time to shine. So Aquarius is listening. This is going to be a time for you to really step into the spotlight, is what I just heard. And so maybe things have been a little crazy, and they're letting you know everything's going to get better. The things you've been hoping for are coming into fruition. Maybe you had to wait a little longer so it came in a way that was going to be best for you, is what I'm receiving. I see that there's patience that's paid off here, is like what the sense I'm getting. So I'm so excited for you. Maybe something you've been really hoping for, wishing for, working towards is going to be coming towards you. So the next thing I'm getting is to make sure that you're open to receive from the universe. So that would be a great affirmation to say, like, when you wake up and when you go to bed, is like, I am open to receive from the universe. I am worthy of receiving from the universe, and I am grateful for all that the universe is bringing me. Those are the ones that came to mind. So perhaps you want to implement those affirmations for the foreseeable future and see how that kind of changes what's going on around you. Yay, but I'm really excited for you. Pisces, let go, relax, and release. So on this card, we have a full moon, and we have the full moon coming up. It's the lunar eclipse. So first thing I'm getting is Pisces. There's some sort of eclipse, something happening. There's something that's going to be coming in that is going to require you to surrender control. That's like the essence of what I'm getting from this let go card, is maybe you've been trying to control the way things are unfolding or happening in your life, or overthinking something. And the universe is saying, let go, because this is a time where the universe is going to bring whatever it's going to bring, however it's going to bring it. So we don't really have much control to begin with, especially during such a fated season. And this full moon, matching up with the upcoming moon phase, is telling me that in the next week or so, I feel like something's going to be going on that's going to require you to let go. I see someone taking a really deep breath. So lean into some breathing exercises. Make sure, hold on, I'm receiving something else here. Make sure that you're open, is what I just heard. Make sure that you're open. You might be expecting something to happen a very specific way, like tunnel vision, like I said earlier. And this thing may just end up happening in a different way that leads you to the same place, but be open to the possibilities. Don't be so tightly gripped onto the way you think things are supposed to happen and how it's supposed to happen and what's supposed to happen. Allow the universe to reveal to you. Also, this full moon too, last thing, is truth. There's a lot of truth that could be revealed to you. That is what it is. What I said, something's coming with this full moon, truth. And full moon, that is one of the stereotypical, I guess, like notions that come with the full moon, is truth being revealed, things being illuminated under the light of the moon, right? So that could help you relax and release. So maybe whatever it is that you've been stressing about, there's going to be more information coming towards you about that. And it's going to allow you to relax and release, but you're going to have to let go of control in order for that to happen, is what I'm hearing. So good luck with that. I know that you are more than capable. And as always, Pisces, just follow your intuition. It's never going to lead you in the wrong direction. Aries, action, awaken the warrior within. So Aries, if there's been something that you've been sitting on, this is the time to go forward with it. I'm receiving right now that for some Aries listening, it is, I don't know, it seems like there's an Aries listening that is in that Knight of Cups energy, because I literally just saw like a moving vision of the Knight of Cups going. So for some, not just Aries, but there might be an Aries listening that maybe you've been on the fence about, expressing yourself to somebody. So this is a sign to go ahead and do it. I send you so much bravery, so much courage, and I promise that you are strong enough to navigate whatever the outcome is, but go in with a positive mindset, and you just never know what's going to happen. For the rest of you, Aries listening, definitely get the ball rolling on whatever it is. I feel like some of you have been sitting on something specific, so get going. This action card too, the way this is set up, is also giving me that same energy of like move your body. Move your body, release that stagnant energy, get your body moving in whatever way feels good to you. Like I said earlier, dance, yoga, exercising, going for a walk. But I think that physically moving the energy in your body is going to allow you to rid yourself of a lot of stagnant energy. So I hope that helps you. Taurus, breathe, inhale, exhale, create space within. So the first thing I'm receiving, Taurus, is I think this week may have a couple things that may require you to go within and find your center. Find the calm no matter what your external environment is bringing your way, is like what I'm hearing. So this is a good week to really make sure you're centered. I'm seeing a lot of self-care. I'm seeing a lot of nurturing yourself, whatever you need to do to stay centered. And make sure that you are only taking on what's yours and you're not taking on the issues and problems and energy of others. Make sure you leave them with their stuff. You only have your stuff. And take a moment to breathe. Maybe there's some breathing exercises or meditations that you want to look into, and a few really good deep breaths always calms me down, at least a little bit, so I can get my brain back to a place where I'm thinking clearly. So that's just like a piece of advice for the week. Gemini, fire, transformation, rebirth, renewal. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think is the lunar eclipse in Gemini coming up with the full moon? I really do think it is. So if that is, that's even extra cool. But Gemini, I mean, this is huge transformation energy. What is being burned away in order to create something new in your life? So you may be going through a very transformational period for this near future. What are you getting rid of? What are you creating space for? What is this new you that is being birthed right now? Really lean into that. If you've been kind of struggling with, am I feeling like these changes? Am I not? Well, listen, this is a big sign. Go with your gut, follow your intuition. You're on the right track. Keep transforming and know that it's okay to continuously evolve. There may never be a stopping point where you're like, okay, this is it, So just let yourself loose, let yourself keep going until, just make sure that whatever you're doing feels good. This could also be an indication too for some of you that do some sort of candle magic, if you want to work with fire, or I just saw someone now, a vision of someone doing a full moon ritual where they you burn away the things you're releasing. So maybe you want to do some sort of releasing ritual as well during this time, or something like that, or just think about what you're releasing and then what you're making space for in your life. That's exciting. Cancer, remember who you are. Return to the roots. So Cancer, maybe I feel like you've been a little bit ungrounded is what I just heard. So make sure you're returning to center. Make sure you're coming back to reality. This character is also holding a full moon. So I think that this full moon energy, the eclipses, everything that's, kind of going on right now is going to be bringing to you clarity about where you're going from here. is what I heard. Clarity about where we're going from here. And I think for some of you, maybe you've strayed away a little bit from like who you really are. Maybe you're trying to fit in with other people. Maybe you're trying to, I don't know. I just see someone like returning, like they say, like, okay, wait a second. I'm changing, I'm evolving, but the core parts of me, the parts of me that really make up the fundamental aspects of who I am, like, where is that right now? So connect with your inner self. I'm seeing someone connecting with their strength. What are your core values right now? This also has stuff to do, this card always to me symbolizes past life recall. So and with this moon here and everything and Cancer, so it's stereotypically intuitive, I'm thinking that maybe there could be some dreams coming up for you in the near future about past lives. Maybe they are what I'm hearing is reminding you of your power. So maybe there's some of you that need a reminder of who you have been, the power and the magic and the confidence you have held previously. And so you can hold that now, right? Like if you were capable of doing it before, you've already done it, right? You've already been there. So remember your strength, remember your power, remember your resiliency, your courage, and keep a dream journal nearby this week in case you have any cool dreams. Leo, a lesson, wisdom through mistakes. So Leo, this energy coming in could be, I think for some of you, providing clarity on, I think for some of you, it's like the lesson has already kind of, like the issues around and the actions around the lesson have already taken place. And now you're kind of integrating that wisdom. And so sometimes, well, no, all the time, when we go through something difficult, we can't gain insight about it when we're in it, because insight requires that you've already kind of come out the other side of it, or you're at least starting to. And so for some Leos listening, it could be this thing of, oh yeah, I'm now starting to see what the lesson was behind XYZ that happened. And when I was in it, I was so confused and in this, why is this happening to me mindset? And now I'm getting into my, what am I learning from this mindset? You're reframing. And I think that's going to be super beneficial for you. And then for some of you, it could be a time where maybe something's going to happen in the near future that sort of teaches you a lesson, right? So it's okay to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. It is like one of the most impactful ways that we learn is by making a mistake. So I just want to remind you of that. Give yourself grace, forgive yourself. And the best way to move forward is to learn the lesson, right? So that way it's there and you don't have to go through a cycle where you have to try and learn it again. So I send you peace and healing and good luck this week. Virgo, caution, keep your guard up. So first thing on this card is a large spider, and spiders to me always talk about like weaving your own reality. They're the creator of like their own universe. So think, what thoughts are you thinking that are going to serve you in creating a reality around you that you're really happy with, that you're worthy of, that you're really excited about? That's the first thing that's coming up. And two, this caution, keeping your guard up, what I'm receiving about that is this is talking about with other people specifically. I'm seeing that you need to keep things to yourself right now. Don't be a little bit tight-lipped with if there's anything going on in your life that's a little sensitive to you. And maybe not everyone needs to know all the information about like what's going on, right? So maybe you want to, like I said, keep some things close just for you. I'm seeing that's because there's things that have to play out, right? Like not all the information is in, and you don't really need everybody else's opinions and just kind of like bullshit, to be honest with you, right? Like, so what I'm hearing is like, it's to protect yourself from further headaches. So Virgo's listening, make sure you're taking time to heal. Put yourself first right now. Do what you need to do as far as self-care is concerned. So you're in a good place. And then you know what? You catch everyone up when you're ready. Things are on your terms. They're on your time in your life. So don't feel pressured to meet everyone's needs all the time, to share all the time. Do what's best for you. Good luck, Virgo. I send you healing and peace as well. And then last but never least, Libras, listening. Okay. This card says growth, overcoming limitations. So I think what this, energy coming in is bringing to you, the first thing I'm receiving is I see someone going to like the next stage of something. So it seems like maybe Libra's listening. You've been going through a period recently where you're learning a lot of lessons. You're kind of, I feel like a lot of things have been up in the air for you, maybe. And it seems like that idea of like, what the hell is going on, right? But I see you working through that because now I think you're coming into a little bit more of a confident part of this journey where I'm hearing you're listening to your intuition, right? Maybe intuition wasn't something that you used to lead with before, and it absolutely is becoming a large factor now, and that is absolutely wonderful because your intuition is always going to lead you to where you need to be. So Libra's listening, I'm also seeing this as a card for you to celebrate how far you've come. So maybe you've gone through a difficult phase recently, or you've made some decisions, or you're moving forward in whatever areas of life. So give yourself a pat on the back. I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself because growth is not easy. Change is not easy. I also see here there's an image of like a budding flower, and it's like raining, and so what I'm seeing here is seeds that may have been planted in the past are going to start blooming. Like that's the message that I'm receiving. And so maybe some things have been in the works that you've been hoping for. And I see these things really growing under this eclipse energy, under the energy that's coming in. So have hope, have faith, keep being confident about moving forward. And remember that all of the things happening in your life aren't just happening like to you, like woe is me mindset. Again, think about what you can learn from these experiences because they're in your path for you to grow. How can you grow from these experiences? And this is too, maybe to look at what areas can you still experience growth, right? Like what still within you could use a little bit of attention right now. But overall, I see this as like a beautiful omen. I think that there's going to be growth in something really important in your life happening soon. And that's really beautiful. I love that for you. So good luck on the rest of that journey. So everyone listening, thank you so much for being here with me. I really hope to see you over at Starful. Again, you can join that page through theglamspirit.com. And yeah, I'm wishing us all a beautiful, peaceful week. We are going through the next most, energetically sort of unpredictable time, like through experiencing the next eclipse coming up. So I just, I pray that we all have peace and healing and clarity, I guess, moving forward. And I think that's what's going to be brought to so many of us. I've been seeing a lot of messages about like truths being revealed and clarity coming. And so if you're part of this group that's been feeling a little bit uncertain and like some things are a little bit up in the air, I think we're going to have a lot more of our questions answered in the coming weeks. So hang in there and you're not alone. So I will see everyone back here next week for the next Monday Mensaje. And until then, I wish you well. Bye, everyone.